Why is it the intro? No one knows.
No one knows. It just kind of works that way. All right, it's another edition of Shop Talk, and I'm Jay, and this is Jess. For those who don't know you, a little bit about you, Jessica.
Yes. So my name's Jessica Thompson, otherwise known as Be Joyful Jess, for those that follow on social media. And I own Michigan's first zero waste and refill shop.
Well, now, see, I didn't even know that part of it.
Isn't that cool?
Yes, it is. Well, see, I just come in and it's like, it's my favorite store. So, when I tell people, well, we've got to go see Be Joyful, they're like, what's Be Joyful? It's like, well, they've got all this stuff and you'll like it.
Exactly.
But I didn't really know the mission or the idea behind it. So the idea of Shop Talk is really to get the stories that go along with all of these businesses that you see every day in downtown Kalamazoo.
Yeah.
So we dig a little deeper and talk a little bit more and kind of share those stories. And Jess has got a bunch of them, just a bunch of them. But so give me kind of the backstory as to how you end up in downtown Kalamazoo, Jess.
Oh my gosh. So, well, it's a journey, if you will.
Life is a journey. I mean,
come on this journey with me.
Okay.
So, I grew up extremely sustainably, almost off the grid. I still went to public school, but I grew up without running water, indoor plumbing, electricity.
When you tell people that, did they have the same look that I had on my face?
Pretty much.
Okay.
It is a look of what?
Okay. Now you have me intrigued.
So, my family just kind of wanted to do that, live off the land.
Okay.
And so that's how I grew up. They built their own log cabin from scratch and cut down the trees, the whole bit.
Holy moly.
And so that's how I grew up. I always had an appreciation for taking care of others and taking care of the planet, just kind of instilled in me. Moved to Kalamazoo to go to college and was pretty excited that I could flip a switch and turn on a light and not burn myself or walk down the hall to go to the restroom. So convenience is nice.
Sure.
Convenience is nice.
Makes sense.
And then fast forward and life. And I am married and I had 5 children in 7 years. And which that in itself is another journey, another piece to the puzzle. And
you're one of the only people I talk to that have 5 children like I do. So it's like, yes, I know the feeling.
Yes. Yep.
It's a challenge.
It
every
is.
day.
Yeah. It's one of the most wonderful challenges, right?
It is.
And unfortunately, when the youngest was 2, got a divorce.
Gotcha.
So then that led to the next chapter of being a single mom of the 5 children for about 12 years. And things were tight. Things were tough. And this was also, I always have to throw this in because it was right around the time of the Visco Girl, if anyone knows what that is, where the Save the Turtles and the use reusable straws and all of that kind of thing. So my kids were coming home and they were saying, plastic is really bad. And I'm like, no, I know. And they're like, there's all these chemicals. And I'm like, yeah, I know, right? So we start looking at what is out there that we could start to make some changes in our household. And there were some, but most of them were so ridiculously expensive that I couldn't afford them.
Sure, that makes sense.
So now I've got mom guilt, and now I have eco guilt. Which is
that coming together is incredibly powerful. I can just only imagine.
I mean, I'm an emotional person, but it honestly made me cry.
Sure.
I felt bad. And so in our, search for these products, finally I saw something that was out of the country, and it was these reusable food wraps. And I was like, that's cool.
Yeah.
What is this? Right? It replaces cling wrap. Right? Plastic wrap. And
Ziplocs.
all that kind of thing.
All those things, right.
Yep. So couldn't afford those. So that was cute. Even if I could afford them, I couldn't afford shipping.
Sure.
Right? So I looked more into it and I was like, you know what? I'm a crafty gal. We're going to make these suckers. We're going to make them. And that was our first product. We got all the materials. My kids helped me, and I made them all their own little sets of these food wraps. They took them to school, and when you have 5 kids in the school system, all the teachers know you, and good and bad.
Yep.
And they started reaching out, and they were like, "What is this? What are you sending the kids? They said, you made them. And I'm like, yeah, we did. They're like, we want some. We want those. And then one of my really good friends there was like, girl, you should be selling these. And I was like, what? And that's how it all started. So it's with one little thing. And side note on this crazy story was because we had no money, I called Consumers Energy and said, hey, can I defer my payment until next month? And they were like, yep, not a problem. So I took my $35 and I went to the store, and that's what I bought all of the supplies with. Was that $35?
No kidding.
So I'll get back to that in a second.
Yeah.
That'll be important in a moment.
Okay.
And so that's how the whole business began, was with that kindness from consumers saying, yeah, we can defer that. Right. So then we start making them. The kids are helping. We start doing craft shows, and we're on Etsy. We're doing all the things that entrepreneurs do. You go to the farmers market, you go to all the places, and it's not only helping us financially. Now I'm paying bills. We're able to do some extra things that are with the kids, but we're making such an impact in our community, and then we started getting sales around the world. Right?
I'm sorry. Again, for those who aren't in the studio and couldn't see, my eyes just rolled back in my head. I'm like, what? Really? This is amazing.
It is. When I tell this, it just re-inspires me because I can't believe where we started and where we're at. Right?
No.
Yeah. So we outgrew the kitchen, might have ruined a stove in the process because they are made with wax and it's messy. And we finally made the step to move into Park Trade Center, which is, for those that don't know, it is a community. It's a gigantic old building with it's sectioned off for lots of entrepreneurs.
Incubators, so to speak. It's, small businesses that aren't going to be able to, get a brick and mortar place, but they need some place to get, and do their stuff rather than their kitchen.
It is a beautiful space. It is filled with amazing people. It's one of my favorite places. It has just good vibes. Yeah. It's got old registers and wood floors that have seen things. Like, I love that place. Yeah. So we had 300 square feet in there, just a little buddy. And I went in and we made the food wraps there. During Art Hop nights, we would sell out, and everyone was just like, oh my gosh, do you have more things? We want more things like this. These are amazing. And I was like, I don't know. I can find stuff, right? I don't know. So I start reaching out to some of these places at the craft shows that I see they're doing good things. They're sustainably made. They're local. And I was like, how would one buy the things to resell the things? I mean, this was such a learning experience.
Oh, yeah.
Right? And every time I bring more stuff in, and it would all sell out. We would pay our rent in 1 4-hour thing.
No kidding.
Yeah. It was crazy. And then people just kept saying, we want more, we want more, we want more. And I'm like, oh my gosh, okay. So as social media does, when you start looking at things, it starts feeding you more of what you're interested in. Mm-hmm. Right? And I started seeing these refilleries, these refill shops around, not here, but in different countries. Right?
Yeah.
And I'm like, secretly in my head, I'm like, oh my gosh, I want to do that. I want to do that so bad. That seems so cool to me. And so, you've seen it, but a lot of people don't. This is a place where you bring your bottles into the store and then fill them up and then take them home and then bring them back and fill them up instead of going to your local grocery store and, as I say, buying more trash.
Right.
Right? Because that's what we're doing. We go, my shampoo's out, I throw the bottle away, I go to the store, I buy more trash.
Right.
Recycling rates at that point were about 9.5%.
Oh, wow.
Yeah, which is not that great.
No.
Not that great at all, because people are trying so hard, right? And so then I was downtown one day on the mall, and I saw this open space, and I was like, oh my gosh, that would be a perfect spot. And I, on a whim, just called because in my head it was like, rent surely must be $20,000 a month
There's
for
no way
that.
I can afford this. It's like, what a pipe dream, but why not?
I'm just going to call and
Sure.
see, right? And so I called. I met with them the next day. I signed the following day.
You've got to be kidding.
No, because I was like, what? It's just that? I mean, now I'm not
I can do
downplaying.
this. I can do this. Right.
Yes.
Yeah.
Yes, exactly. And so you're going to love this. That was in the last week of February of 2020.
Oh, well, that's fun. I know what happens next.
So...
Well, that was a good time. Good times.
Good times. So the kids and I, we went in March and we're painting and we have just a few little shelves and a couple tables and you know, it was great. And looking back at the pictures, it looked like bargain basement, but whatever. It was ours.
Right.
And we were set to open April 2nd of 2020 and the state shut down the week prior. So I went home. Cried for a couple of days.
Sure. Makes sense.
My kids then said, Mom, you should be on TikTok. And I was like, I will not be dancing. Thank you very much. And they were like, no. Like, there's small businesses on there and you should do that. It's a newfangled thing, Mom. Yeah. And so we started our TikTok and boosted up the website and the social medias and did all the things. And the sales from TikTok saved our business.
You have got to be kidding.
No, because, I mean, we were closed until July. Yeah. And we were too new for grants and PPP. So we had no help. So this whole thing that's going on right now with, should we ban it? I mean, there's always good and bad with things, right? Yep. But I have seen more good than bad. And for us, it's an amazing community, and they rallied around small businesses.
But you cultivated it at the right time is the important part. It's like, look, everybody was looking for something to do.
Yes.
And they couldn't go any place else. And it was an introvert's world, which was really, really freaky for me. But you did a lot of scrolling. You did, what's this TikTok thing? I got to find out because I got time now. I got nothing else to do.
All the time.
I'm not toting kids around. I don't have to go to any sports. I got nothing. Okay, great.
Exactly.
I get it.
Yeah. So it was great. And we finally opened, and we had people coming from around the country to come visit us. And it was still very COVID times, and so there were lots of people who were making road trips. But one of my favorite stories was Mom and Dad, two teenage girls, were driving from Washington State to the East Coast. And they came in and they were like, oh my gosh, we're in this, we have a RV and this is what we're doing. And we're going from here to here. And I was like, and what's in Michigan that you came to see? Like, are you going to the lake? Are you going to, like the falls? What are you doing here? And they were like, no, we came to see you. And I'm like immediately sobbing. I'm like, what do you mean you came to see me?
Right. It's got to feel good, right? Good
and it
Lord.
was so cool. It was so cool. Yeah.
I'm amazed at what led you to this point. To me, it's fascinating because and I noticed because I've been in the store a couple times, but it's like you're always re-educating seemingly every single newbie that walks in the door for the very first time. They look around and go, look, this is neat. What is it?
Yes. Yes.
Is that a reaction? Am I wrong with that? That gut feeling?
No, that's exactly it. We get people walking in and they're looking. And one of our favorite things, we have this on our sign out front because everyone who walks by or walks in says something to the effect of, "Oh, it's like soaps and stuff," and we're like, yes. And we're Michigan's first zero waste and refill shop. So we do have soaps and stuff, but we have every plastic-free alternative that you can imagine. So if you have a plastic sponge, we have 4 different options of different types of sponges that aren't made of plastic or the microfibers, that type of thing. We have, you can cut your own soap, which is kind of magical. People love that. You can scoop your own bath salts. And it gives a really kind of a step back in time to those old type of general stores, almost, which is kind of neat because those were times before plastic as well. So
probably closer to zero waste than we are right now.
Yes.
I mean, to be
Oh,
honest,
heavens.
Not
Yeah.
no kidding. As kidding aside.
Yeah.
But.
Yeah. So it's really neat. We love to show people, and I can seriously see wheels turning and grinding as they're standing there trying to get a handle on what is this? Why are they doing it? How could I possibly do something? So we're constantly saying, just do one thing. Just make one change. That's it. Because imagine if 7 billion people made one change, right? And then you make that one change, and all of a sudden you're like, oh, that wasn't that hard. I'm going to make another one change. And then all of it, and now it becomes like part of your life. And you're just like, oh no, this is what I do. I say no to that plastic bag and I haul it out in my hands like a fool.
Sure.
Or I put my groceries in the cart without bags because I forgot my bags in the car. And then I load them in the car, right? So it's really neat. It's fun to educate people. That's one of our goals, is to educate, encourage, and inspire people.
So when you tell them it's zero waste, I mean, what is there? Is there a retort? Is there a question as to what does that really mean? Does that come up often?
Yeah, I mean, it depends on the person.
Sure.
Sometimes you're going to get the, zero waste isn't, that's not feasible. And I'll say, you're right. It's not. That's the goal.
Right.
That's the goal. Other people will be like, I don't know what you're talking about. I don't know what that means. And we're just saying, like, in your life, think about your garbage can.
Right.
And how can you lessen that garbage bag being filled with reusing those glass jars? Those pasta jars are cool. Why are you throwing that out? Right. That's a good jar.
Right.
Right?
Absolutely.
All of the things, and when you explain to someone, I'm shipping this in this box to you and it's reused because we're trying to cut down, then people are like, oh, that's awesome. Cool.
Yeah.
Love that.
You must get that a lot. Oh,
Yeah.
That's awesome.
That's cool. Yeah. But
Yes.
let me tell you the full circle moment
Right.
of the beginning of the story. So we're open. People are coming. It's great. We're open for a second year. More people are coming. They're starting to get it. Now we're building this community. And I get a lot of, and I love when the colleges stop in. So K College brings students in, Western brings students in to not only talk about the business model, but talk about just how to incorporate sustainable measures into their, whatever they're doing,
Sure.
right? Whatever field they're going into.
Right.
So we get that a lot, but I received a phone call one day. And I answer the phone and they're like, hi, this is so-and-so from Consumers Energy. And my mind's racing and I'm thinking, I thought I was set up on auto pay, right?
Right.
and she's like, I'm not calling about a bill. And so clearly she knew what this next question was. She said, I am from the green team at Consumers Energy and we have GreenCon that's coming up and we would love for you to be one of our guest speakers. And I paused, cried again, and she was like, are you okay? And I said, I have a story to tell you. And this is just so cool to me that you guys showed such kindness and such grace, and it allowed me to start this, and to now, 3 years later, have you call me and ask this.
Wow.
Isn't that cool?
That is really awesome.
I love that story.
It's a great story.
Yeah.
What's amazing to me is, again, I love origin stories on a lot of this stuff. But yours, as it has turned out, while it's a shop, and yes, you got to it's kind of a gathering place. And you wouldn't think of that as a gathering, but it is.
It is.
I mean, you end up in there with conversations and all kinds of different stuff. It's just really, it really is fascinating and a testament to what you've been able to build.
Thank you.
Yeah.
It is. I have people that just come in to talk. They just come in to chat.
I bet.
They come in to talk about, hey, did you see that thing from the New York Times? Did you see this article? Did you hear about this event that's going on? And then we just sit and talk about recycling, and we talk about new programs, and one of the other things that we offer, too, I want to share, is that we have free community recycling programs.
Oh.
We've got big boxes at the front of the store, kind of
Yep.
filled with trash, because during COVID, that 9.5%, went down to 4.9% of all of our recycling that gets recycled. Now that's across the board.
Right.
Kalamazoo County is doing amazing things, and that number is different for our local area.
Sure.
So that's a testament to all of the work that they're doing. So I love that. But you can bring in your different recycling things that maybe can't be recycled in your Herbie Kirby out there, and bring it into us. And we offer that for free to people.
Just another added
If people
bonus.
want to do a donation,
Yep.
that's great. But if not, that's cool too.
That's pretty awesome. All right. So the other hat you wear, obviously, you during COVID and post-COVID and the rest have kind of got all of these business owners together. You do a lot of events. You do a lot of things downtown,
Yes.
along with the business that you're in with Be Joyful. Events coming up. Do we have a couple of events that you can think of right off the top of your head that we?
Oh my gosh. Well, yeah, because one of them is definitely in our wheelhouse, and that is April 13th, Eco in the Zoo.
Oh, there you go.
Right?
Yes.
So that is going to be a fun day of lots of hands-on activities that are going on. All of our sustainability people in town are going to have tents on the mall. The mall's going to be closed down, so you can just walk around. There's going to be games out there and all kinds of fun stuff. Sunseeker from Western is the solar-powered car will be down there. And so that'll be a fun time.
Oh, that sounds fantastic. It should be really fun then.
Yeah, it's going to be a good day.
Yeah,
it's going to be a good day. I think the weather's going to be great. So
We're going to cross our fingers.
Exactly. Yeah, so everybody come on down, see all of the good things that are happening downtown, and then while you're down there for that, make sure to check out all of the shops and restaurants as well.
All right, Jess. Thank you much.
Thank
Another
you.
edition of Shop Talk.
Happy Earth Month.